Good evening, everyone. Tonight for dinner, we're making oxtail with rice and peas. I did a previous video on how to do the marinade because you need to marinate it at least the day before, or most of the day before, overnight. So we've got our marinade here. Now, this takes 3 hours. That's why it's a Sunday meal. So let's get to it. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is get a big pot. I use my big mama pot for this one. We're gonna set the heat to medium high and wait for that to warm up. First step we're gonna do is to caramelize the outside, or at least the top and bottom of the oxtail. So I've got some light brown sugar, and I'm gonna take a couple spoonfuls of this, probably two. And we're gonna go ahead and wait for this to heat up and caramelize. I don't know if you can see, but you see how it's starting to crystallize in there? So I'm gonna use a spatula. I'm gonna start to move this around. You see it's already melting. So we're kind of like a caramel sauce is what we wanna see. We get that in there. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is get our marinade, and we're just gonna pick out the pieces of the oxtail and put them in. If there's a little bit of onion or something stuck to it, that's fine. What we're gonna do is sear this for about 2 minutes and then flip it to the other side. The most important thing here is to make sure that all of them are touching the bottom. So if you have to do more than one batch, that's perfectly normal. Okay, so this caramelized goodness is what we're looking for. And just keep doing this till you've got them all done. All right, once we've evacuated the dance floor, go ahead and throw in the rest of that marinade. And we're gonna cook down the vegetables. And the onions in here are going to uncaramelize the bottom of the pan. Sorry if it's kind of hard to see. I'm testing the power of my microwave vent. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these back in. Okay, make sure they're evenly spaced out. And we're going to go in with our beef broth. So you want enough to cover. So I'm going to start with 1 box of beef broth. All right, and obviously I'm going to need a second box, which I figured was going to happen because I have 3 pounds in here. All right, let's turn that off. Okay. Now to this, and if I move these around, they'll be covered. To this, we want to add butter beans and a little bit of the magic ketchup. Go ahead and squirt a little bit in there. All right, so I'm going to give this a little stir. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the top on this and wait for it to start to bubble. The steam one. I had to get my husband to put a fan up to blow everything out the door. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's add in a couple bay leaves. That should be enough. And top back on while we wait for it to boil. All right, once it starts to simmer, we're gonna go ahead and partially cover and set this to medium-low or a number 3 if you have a numbered knob. And we're gonna let her simmer for 3 hours. You want that fall off the bone, juicy, tender meat, 3 hours. We'll be back. Friendly mid-tutorial reminder to take your freezer meat out for dinner tomorrow. I'm picking out ground beef because tomorrow we're kicking it back to the 90s and we're going to do meatloaf with mashed potatoes and green beans. Don't say I didn't warn you. All right, it has been almost 3 hours. So we're gonna start on our rice and peas. So get your pot and we're gonna set that to medium-high heat. Per usual, I cook everything on medium-high. And to that, I'm going to add 2 cans of red kidney beans. Get the top off this one. Ooh. 1 and 2. Add a cup and a half of water. We'll add in our spices. Just gonna add a little bit of salt. Add in a little bit of pepper. And my favorite, allspice. Add some of that in there. Then we'll add in our aromatics. So we got a few sprigs of thyme, Scotch bonnet. We'll pop that later. And our green onion. So I'm just gonna break it in half. Then we'll go ahead and give that a little stir and let that get heated up. Y'all, the ADD is real. I almost forgot 3 most important ingredients. Go ahead and add in your coconut milk, our garlic, because we're lazy, and some garlic, and some ginger paste, or real ginger if you have the time. Go ahead and stir that in. Now, since everything's already heated up, we're gonna take our rice that has already been washed because we're budget friendly, not nasty. So this is 2 cups of rice since I used 2 cans of beans. Go ahead and add that in. And get as much of that in there as I can. All right. We'll go ahead and set this to medium-low until we see most of this evaporated. Right after about 10 to 15 minutes, put a top on it, set it to low, and let it sit for another 10. As we plate up dinner tonight, just remember, Mama, it's been a long weekend. You've done a lot, but you have done enough for tonight. Good night.